Hello, Loaves for Literacy community. Welcome back for part 3 of our Science of Reading series. Today, we will dive into explicit phonics instruction. My name is Amanda Errington, and I am an instructor here at GCU's College of Education.
Hi, I'm Michelle Keso, and I am also an instructor for the College of Education. In part 1 of our Science of Reading series, we provided an overview of the science of reading, including Scarborough's rope, and the simple view of reading as the foundation of the series.
In part 2, we focused on phonological and phonemic awareness instruction and its critical role in literacy instruction.
The purpose of this video is to share the lesson components of an explicit, systematic, and multisensory phonics lesson. And if you haven't seen our first 2 episodes, check out the QR codes on the slides. Now, here are the components of an explicit phonics lesson, and we're going to discuss and model these throughout this video. Phonemic awareness warm-up, introducing a new pattern, blending, chaining with multisensory elements, dictation, high-frequency words, and decodable text. We'll end with some follow-up Q&A.
Let's get started, Lopes. Michelle did a wonderful job of breaking down each of the components of an explicit phonics lesson. If you notice, the very first stage in that lesson is going to be a phonological awareness warm-up. The warm-up is going to practice important skills such as blending, segmenting, or manipulating phonemes. Here are some things to keep in mind before watching our phonemic awareness warm-up. You're not going to see any graphemes during this time, auditory only. Use manipulatives whenever possible. You'll get to see some multisensory techniques modeled in the future clips. Utilize your scope and sequence as well as assessments so that students are getting systematic and explicit instruction. And make sure that your phonemic awareness warm-up is quick and engaging, especially for our youngest learners. All right, let's get this warm-up started.
Now it's time for our phonemic awareness warm-up. I'm going to be the teacher. Would you be the student, Amanda?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I am going to give you a word. You're going to repeat that word, and then I'm going to cue you by asking you, what's the first sound that you hear in that word? Let's try one together. The word is shark.
Shark.
What is the first sound that you hear in the word shark? Very good. Let's do a few more together. The next word is shape.
Shape.
What is the first sound you hear in the word shape?
S.
Well, S is the first letter in the word shape. I want you to tell me the first sound that you hear in shape.
Oh, that's right.
Very good. How about share?
Share. I like to share.
Yes, you do. And finally, shack.
Jack.
Very good. So in this example, we are looking for our students to hear and repeat the first sound. In a regular classroom lesson, you would probably have more words and you would have additional first sounds that they'd be listening for.
All right, so the next part of our phonemic awareness warm-up is going to be blending phonemes. Michelle, we are going to model several multisensory techniques that you can integrate into your phonemic awareness warm-ups. Are you ready to be my student?
I'm ready.
All right, so the first example are going to be these encoding boxes, and the Legos are going to signify the sounds. And then your job is going to be to blend that word together. How's that sound?
Sounds like fun.
All right. Okay, our first word is sh. Blend that word.
Wish.
Very nice job. Okay, so the other 2 techniques are going to be with our fingers and our blending arm. Okay, so the first word is Ash.
Hash.
Very nice blending. Here's our blending arm. Here are the sounds. D, I, sh. Pull those sounds together.
Dish.
Very nice blending. All right, those are 3 examples of multisensory techniques that can be integrated into your phonemic awareness warm-up. Nice job.
The key to explicit instruction is providing students the ability to read accurately and confidently. Stephanie Stoller refers to it as errorless learning, setting students up for the success right from the start. So when introducing a new sound spelling, we're going to tap into multisensory strategies by providing a sound spelling card like you see here.
All right, remember, boys and girls, yesterday's lesson, we learned that when we see the letters S and H together, that they make one sound. Shh. We practiced that again in our phonemic awareness warm-up today. Today, we're going to learn 2 more letters together that make one sound. Now, you do know that I have my very own hobby farm and I'm raising a special animal. Do you know what that animal is, Michelle?
Chickens.
That's right. So what sound do you hear at the beginning of chicken? Very nice. Now notice when you say the sound ch, your teeth come together like you see on our sound spelling card, and the sound almost comes out of our teeth. Ch is the first sound you hear in the word chicken or chick, like it says on our sound spelling card, and it's spelled with a CH. All right, let's practice, Michelle. My turn is going to be reading each sound. Your turn is going to be blending the sounds to the whole word. Ready?
Ready.
Okay. Ch, I.
Chick.
Very nice blending.
Okay, so now we're going to switch roles, and I'm going to be the teacher, and Amanda is going to be the students. We're going to practice blending words that begin or end with the ch sound. I'm going to say the sounds, and then Amanda is going to blend the whole word. Are you ready, Amanda?
I'm ready.
Here we go. Ch, I,
Chip.
ch,
Chop.
perfect. I, ch,
Rich.
I, ch.
Witch.
All right, boys and girls, today we are going to be chaining words. Our first word has the sounds ah, p. What word is that? Hop. Very good. Let's change some sounds now. Let's change the for sh. What's our new word? Sh, ah, p. Shop. Great. Let's change sh to ch. Let's read our new word. Chop. Chop. Let's change to I. Let's just read our whole word together. Ready? Chick. Let's change ch to sh. What's this new word? Ship. Let's change the I to a. What's this new word? Shack. Is that a real word? No. All right, now let's add a silent E. What's our word? Shape. Very nice chaining words, boys and girls.
Here. Teaching high frequency words is still a topic that needs clarity. Some schools continue to use rote memorization, which is counter to how the brain learns to read. Now, high frequency words show up most frequently in text. and they can be categorized into regularly or irregularly spelled words. Now, just because words are irregularly spelled doesn't mean that they don't have decodable parts. And when explicitly taught, it can aid in reading and spelling of those words. High-frequency word instruction should be part of an explicit phonics lesson, not separate. Now, Michelle is going to model how to integrate high-frequency word instruction into your explicit phonics lesson. Being intentional about the words that you choose is part of a systematic instructional model. She will be teaching high-frequency words that students will encounter in our decodable and/or follow our ch sound spelling. Here we go, Michelle. Here.
As Amanda said, we suggest that high-frequency words are explicitly taught as part of a systematic phonics program. Some words in English do not follow any of the phonics rules. For example, you, Y-O-U, and need to be memorized. However, many common words have letters that can be decoded, leaving only part of the word to memorize. Using the word each as an example, an explicit lesson on teaching this high-frequency word may look something like this. Today, we are learning how to read and spell the word each. Can you repeat the word each? And then the students would do so. Let me use that word in a sentence. Each of you will get to go to recess in 10 minutes. Maybe you'd have them repeat the sentence as well. The word each has 4 letters, E-A-C-H. Let's spell that together. Now take your whiteboards out and write the word each. Now, students, there are 2 sounds in the word each, E-ch. Let's say those 2 sounds together, E-ch. And then let's put those sounds together, each. Say that with me, each. You could be pointing to the slide at this point. They could be pointing to their whiteboards. I will go on. These 2 sounds are spelled with 2 letters. The sound E is spelled E-A, and the ch sound is spelled C-H. So students, why don't you go ahead and put a box around the 2 letters that make up the E, and a box around the 2 letters that make the sh sound. Let's read the word together. Each. Now turn to your partner and see if you can use this word each in a sentence. So that's one way that you could utilize these slides in an explicit lesson to teach the word each. This is far more detailed than say something like say the word, spell it, read it, repeat. And yes, it took a little time, but we submit that this method of teaching high-frequency words will have a positive and a long-term effect on reading proficiency for your students. So now let's look at another word. The word is they. The steps I just modeled can be repeated with this common word as well, right? You can start with the whole word. You can have students spell it grapheme by grapheme. They can listen for the sounds. They can identify the letters that represent those sounds, and so on. You can do the same kind of method. Now, keep in mind that what we're doing is we're teaching those high-frequency words that students are going to see in their decodable text. So we're setting them up for success to get ready to actually read the words in context. Here's one more word, the word have, which can also be taught explicitly, pointing out the letters and the sounds. But in this case, the student has to memorize something about the word have. And that is the letter E does not make any sound. There's no sound to represent this letter. And so specific attention is given in instruction so that that sound E, which is always found at the end of the word, students understand it has to be memorized. Using a symbol such as a star to identify which part of a word needs to be memorized is one way to teach this explicitly. So now that you have taught the decodable and the high frequency words, the students are ready to read these words in a story. We'll do that now.
Hello, boys and girls. Today we're going to read Chad's Ranch by Amanda Errington. Welcome to Chad's Ranch. Chad and his family raise chickens. They have a bunch of new baby chicks. Chad and his sister Rachel each have jobs on the ranch. Chad has to fill the chicks' water. His sister chops lettuce to feed the chicks. Chad has to chip in around the farm even when it rains. The chicks will grow up to be chickens. Then Chad's ranch will be rich with eggs. Thank you for visiting Chad's Ranch.
After we teach the phonics patterns and the high frequency words to students, the ones that they need to read the decodable text, we suggest that the teacher model reading the text so that students can hear it read with fluency and prosody, just as Amanda did. So after the teacher models this, then students are invited to do a second read with the support of the teacher. And this can be done as a choral read, a whisper read, or even an echo read. So Amanda and I are going to do a second read of Chad's Ranch as an echo read. Are you ready to do this, Amanda?
I am. Let's go.
Before we read it, I do have to talk about the author. It's you.
It
You
is.
wrote this book.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
wrote it and you animated it. And I just have to give you credit before we do our echo read together.
Thank you. Thank you. It was a lot of fun.
Chad's Ranch by Amanda Errington. Let's go.
Let's go.
Are ready? Welcome to Chad's Ranch. Chad and his family raise chickens. Your turn.
Welcome to Chad's Ranch. Chad and his family raise chickens.
Very good.
Thank you.
They have a bunch of new baby chicks. Your turn.
They have a bunch of new baby chicks.
Chad and his sister Rachel each have jobs on the ranch. Your turn.
Chad and his sister Rachel each have jobs on the ranch.
You are doing a great job echo reading. Chad has to fill the chicks' water. His sister chops lettuce to feed the chicks. Your turn.
Chad has to fill the chicks' water. His sister chops lettuce to feed the chicks.
Chad has to chip in around the farm, even when it rains.
Chad has to chip in around the farm, even when it rains.
The chicks will grow up to be chickens. Then Chad's ranch will be rich with eggs.
The chicks will grow up to be chickens. Then Chad's ranch will be rich with eggs.
Thank you for visiting Chad's Ranch.
Thank you for visiting Chad's Ranch.
So as you can see, this sets the students up to really be successful because they're listening to you read and they're rereading it. And now we're setting them up to read it independently or with a friend.
Yeah, and Michelle, you know, I wanted to add too, I felt myself just innately want to match your tone and your fluency and your intonation, like without even thinking of it. So it was very neat to do that with you.
Yeah, that is fun. And I think students find that enjoyable as well.
Yeah, awesome. All right. Let's talk a little bit about dictation, which is an instructional routine that is intended to support spelling in an explicit phonics lesson. To help students encode words, dictation is often incorporated into an explicit phonics lesson. However, it should never be overused, as reading and decoding should be the primary focus of your explicit lesson. When utilized, dictation should include words or phrases that students have already encountered in your lesson, as well as the decodable story. Dictation is also a wonderful form of assessment. If I was going to do some dictation for this phonics lesson with our CH digraph, it would go a little something like this. First, my students would understand and have practiced our dictation routine, which, as you can see on the clipboard here, is say it, tap it, write it, spell it, and then read it. All right, so our first word that we're going to practice spelling, boys and girls, is going to be the word rich. Say it with me, rich. Now let's tap the sounds. I, ch. Students can segment the word orally, like I just did. They can tap boxes, like I have on the screen in the whiteboard here. They can also use movable tiles or counters if they need a little bit more multisensory techniques. How many sounds did you hear in the word rich? I, ch. I heard 3 sounds too. So now what we're going to do is we're going to write it. We're going to write the letters or graphemes that represent each of those sounds. So let me get my pen with my GCU purple, and we're going to write the letters that represent the sounds. I, ch. Very nice job. Now we're going to spell the full word right here on this line. I, ch. Now let's read the word we just spelled. Rich. Very nice job with your decoding. So let's try that instructional routine one more time with the word chip. Say it with me. Chip. Now let's tap the sounds. Ch, I, p. I hear 3 sounds too. Now let's write it. Ch, I, p. Very nice writing. Now let's spell it all together into one word. Ch, I, p. All right, boys and girls, read that word. Chip. Very nice job. Another component you can add to your dictation, depending on the time you have, as well as the feature of study, is to use phrases or sentences. So our sentence today to go along with our story is, Chad's ranch has a bunch of chicks. Now let's kind of count those words we hear, not just the sounds. We're going to count the words that we hear. Chad's ranch has a bunch of chicks. I heard 7 words too. Very nice. Okay, now let's write the sounds that we hear in those words. Chad's ranch, ran, and then ch, has. Oh, I better fix that H. A bunch, bun, ch, of chicks. All right, what goes at the end of a sentence? Yes, punctuation. So would I add a question mark or a period? Let's see. Chad's ranch has a bunch of chicks. That doesn't sound right. I think a period would be best. So put a period, and I have a little box there to help students know that there should be punctuation there at the end. So we said it, we tapped it, we wrote it, we spelled it, and we read our words. from our dictation component of our explicit phonics lesson. Very nice job. Providing corrective feedback, students can benefit from explicit support. Although dictation may focus on encoding, it can be helpful to revisit sentence structure during writing instruction. Upon reviewing my students' work during our dictation lesson, I noticed that some of them needed some additional guidance when it came to the use of apostrophes. I would touch upon this either in a small group or in a mini lesson during my writing time.
Hi, my name is Kayla and I'm a junior in the College of Education, and my question is, how can I support student writing in an explicit phonics lesson?
Kayla, thank you for raising such an important question about supporting students' writing. While phonics is a crucial component of your lessons, it's most beneficial when offered as a part of a structured literacy approach. This will support students' reading and writing skills. Now, to effectively teach writing skills, make sure that you are dedicating a time for writing instruction within your structured literacy classroom. Now, this is a separate writing block time where you can teach students various writing genres as well as guide them through the writing process. Also, students should receive explicit instruction in handwriting, as well as essential writing tools such as specific pencils, paper, or multisensory tools. Additionally, it's important that we as teachers are thinking aloud and guiding students to the correct letter formation process. Okay, third, put those sound spelling cards up in your classroom. As soon as you have taught your feature, your concept, display those in your classroom and refer to them often. Have them somewhere that's visible to your students. I made the mistake one year when I first taught kindergarten of putting my sound spelling cards away at the top of my classroom, and I quickly realized my students could not see them very easily. So I brought them down to their level, and this allowed students to go and interact with those sound spelling cards when they needed them. I even held my literacy routine in my small reading groups right in front of that wall. All right, my next tip is going to be to provide visual tools to tap into that multi-sensory strategies. You can use Elkonin boxes, sentence frames, alphabet strips where students can see the correct letter formation. As you remember in my dictation lesson, I had lines for each of the sounds, and then I had a larger line for the word. To scaffold, which is going to be my next tip, is to scaffold for students until they show mastery, and then I can apply that gradual release model. All right, my last word of advice is to never use writing or any sort of academics as a form of punishment. This can really discourage students from wanting to write in the future. Writing should be fun, it should be engaging, and it should also be explicit as a part of that structured literacy approach. I hope that answered your question, Kayla. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Beth Donna, and I'm a junior in the College of Education at Grand Canyon University, and my question today is, what assessments would you suggest I provide students during a phonics lesson?
I am so glad that you asked this question, Beth. The first thing I would suggest is to use several different assessment methods so you can gain a comprehensive understanding of your students' ability to apply phonics skills to their reading. It's important to ensure that assessments are aligned with instruction and, of course, they're age appropriate. I'll give you a few examples of assessments that you can try. The first is often referred to as word decoding. This is simply providing a list of words that include the sound spellings explicitly taught, and of course, the students have practiced. Listen to the student read the word list, noting which ones are correct, and then you can use the data to determine which spelling patterns students are reading proficiently and which ones they may need additional time and support to learn. A second assessment is called reading passages, for example. If your phonics program includes a decodable text, as modeled earlier in this video, you can listen to the students read it independently, and you can record which words students are correctly decoding with fluency. Once again, you can use that data to determine which students need more time, practice, and support. Of course, spelling dictation is another good way to assess students' application of the sound spellings they have learned in your phonics lessons to their writing. You can choose 5 words, and then you can ask students to write that spelling and see if they are correctly applying the right sound spellings. And you saw that in this video as well. When possible, students always welcome a phonics game, such as bingo, when students have to identify the correct spelling of a word spoken by the teacher. You can informally monitor the students while they're playing this game to see who is quickly able to hear the word, recognize it, and mark it correctly on their bingo card. So those are just a few ideas for you.
Hi, my name is Celine Planchin. I'm a junior here at GCU, and I'm in the College of Education. My question today is, do you recommend any educational technology tools to support phonics instructions?
Celine, for your question about using technology in phonics instruction. While there is definitely a place for technology, I just want to emphasize that nothing can replace an effective educator who uses explicit and systematic instruction. However, when supporting students to practice these phonics skills, I do have a few suggestions. Now, these are just recommendations based on research that I've done. It is by no means a sponsored comment. My first option is going to be Sortagories, which is a web-based practice tool, and it's used to support decoding, encoding, and vocabulary. What I think makes Sortagories aligned to the science of reading is its focus on how the brain learns to read, as well as the scope and sequence to their activities and the corrective feedback that it provides. So looking at their webpage here, you can see a focus on the reading brain. You can see a scope and sequence to their modules. And it's really fun. I tried out, you can try it out, level A and level B. And I really enjoyed this Build It that has to do with decoding. And there's just a lot of different options for you to try out to see if this is something that would work in your classroom. Okay, the second option is going to be ABC-Ya, and I'm going to specifically show you how I'm going to choose a technology tool for my students to practice that aligns to the lesson that we just did about Chad's Ranch and learning about the CH digraph. So I'm going to go to ABC-Ya. I'm going to go to first grade. I'm going to go to letters, and then I'm going to sort by my Common Core standards. So in grade 1, I'm going to go to ELA, foundational skills, and then I'm going to look for the standard that aligns to my phonics lesson. And I see right here, knowing spelling sound correspondences for common consonant digraphs. And there it is.
Hi, my name is Neil. I'm a junior at the Grand Canyon University College of Education. My question is, what is the best way to differentiate for students during the Explicit lessons?
That's a great question, Neil. The results of your assessment data will inform you of your students' strengths and areas of growth and provide needed information to help you differentiate for your students at various levels of reading proficiency. For students struggling with accurately reading specific sound spellings correctly, you can group those students together to reteach and practice those phonics skills in isolation, in whole words, and then in connected text, depending on their need. Another suggestion for differentiating is using different methods to teach phonics, such as individual instruction, direct instruction, or even collaborative learning experiences can meet different needs of different students. Also, varying your materials such as .cam, technology tools, paper and pencil, or hands-on materials to review basic phonics patterns offers differentiated learning experiences for your students. In addition, visuals can be used for students to refer to. Even sentence starters can offer support and scaffolds to meet the diverse needs of the learners in your classroom. And as we discussed in this video, we believe that a multisensory approach that includes hands-on letters and technologies and manipulatives and tools and whiteboards and games is a great way to offer students a diverse and fun learning experience. Thanks for asking that question.